What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. I've been covering the Pittsburgh Steelers all off-season, from the draft to free agency to potential targets to all of the signings and cuts we've done so far. I've been talking about positional situations, players that have the most to lose, players that could be cut, players that could stand out this coming year. Tons of coverage on this channel, so go back and check those out. I want to apologize. I've not posted a video in about a week. I've been trying to do 2 a week. I did not post any in the past week. I've had a couple of weddings. I've had a funeral. Had to bury my uncle. Rest in peace, Uncle Jerry. But a lot's been going on, so I've not been able to bring you guys consistent Steeler coverage. So to make up for that, I wanted to record 2 really quick kind of blurbs back to back. I want to talk about some of the things the Steelers can do with this roster, in theory, on offense this year. Some things that can separate us and make us stand out, and to help the growth and development of Kenny Pickett, the second-year quarterback, who showed us a lot in year one. Couple game-winning drives, really got pretty good by the end of the year as he got more familiar, and Matt Canada let him do a little more, and both the running game and offensive lines gelled a little more at the end of the year. But Pickett still has a long ways to grow, and he's got the potential to do so. But he's got to have some different looks and be allowed to go into the playbook, use some different plays, stretch the field a little bit, open up the offense, have some guys running downfield, let Pickett call some audibles, let him throw downfield earlier this season than we did last year. So a lot's going to come down to Matt Canada and how effective this new offensive line can gel together with the new additions. But I wanted to talk to you guys quickly. I'm going to record 2 videos back to back. In this first one, I want to talk about what the wide receivers can add to the team this year. Obviously, we have our 2 guys returning from last year. We have Deontay Johnson, who we know is a guy that specializes in speed and footwork and can separate himself. In terms of route running, he's one of the better route runners in the league, and he's one of the better receivers as far as getting separation in the league right now. Big-time potential playmaker who has just not delivered in the last couple of years because of the amount of drops that he's had. He catches some hard ones and drops some easy ones that could lead to big plays. So that's Deontay's biggest thing. Pickens, in year one, we saw how he goes up, how he skies for the ball, how he can jump, how he has such range, how he can catch with his hands, how he has sideline awareness, how he's physical in the air with guys, getting separation with just his body. Not a big route runner, not incredibly explosive out of his breaks, but is a guy who is big and strong, can high point the ball, can catch with his hands, can toe tap on the sidelines, and can out physical and out muscle guys on the sidelines. Those 2 guys have returned. The 2 biggest additions to our team are our wide receiver 3 and 4. We've had kind of a struggle beyond our first 2 receivers in the past several years. We had Chase Claypool out there, and he really just wasn't getting separation, wasn't doing anything besides just straight line running down the sidelines, 50-50 balls, which he would sometimes catch and other times not. Just kind of like running back toward the ball and not getting downfield, just really not making very good heads-up plays. And of course, he is now traded away to Chicago. And we also have had, Steven Sims playing the slot a little bit, Ray McLeod playing the slot a little bit, a bunch of small, fast guys who really are more return and gadget guys than wide receivers. And so the wide receiver 3 spot has been kind of up in the air for the past 3 seasons, and the wide receiver 4 spot has been non-existent. So it's really been down to the first 2 wide receivers, and now namely Deontay and Pickens, to carry the load. But this year, we have 2 big additions to this team that could really give us some wide receiver 3 and 4 depth, and 2 guys that are very different style of players. You've got the newest addition we picked up from the Rams last year, and from the Rams, who played on the Rams last year, the veteran wide receiver, the big-bodied physical wide receiver who can play both outside and inside, in Allen Robinson. Former Jaguars player, former Bears player, several thousand-year seasons between the Jaguars and Bears, played last year on the Rams, has been injured a little bit, banged up and getting older, but is a locker room leader, is a physical guy, has good hands, can catch in the middle of the field, can bail quarterbacks out, can make tough catches in traffic, and can go up and do the fade stuff in the corner of the end zone. He is a good big-bodied goal line target, much like we wanted Chase Claypool to be. That is what Allen Robinson thrives in, and he gives you some flexibility, because not only can he play on the inside as your big physical wide receiver 3, but he can play on the outside. So if somebody gets hurt, God forbid, if Deontay or Pickens goes down, you can bump Robinson out to the 1 or 2 receiver on the outside, the X and Z positions. if you wanted to bump Deontay inside and see what he can do in the slot, because he has that speed and separation ability, you can put Robinson on the outside and put Deontay on the inside. If you wanted to put Robinson on the outside and see what he can do with our next addition on the inside, that works as well. Calvin Austin, a guy we drafted as a 4th-round steal last year, who stole the show in camp, was one of the most talked about guys in camp. Heading into preseason, he was considered one of the fastest guys in the league. We have been talked about from other corners like Sauce Gardner, how he was the hardest matchup that he had in college. He stole the show last year and then got hurt before he could ever play a game. He is back now in year 2 without playing yet, so he's still an enigma. We don't know what we're going to get. He is a guy that has not played in the NFL yet, and he's coming off of an injury to his foot. So there are a lot of question marks. But if Calvin Austin can be a 10th as effective as he was in college, or he was expected to be last year in camp, or he's shown us so far this year in camp, he's going to be special. And he's going to be one of the faster kind of gadget guys you have. Now, he can be your wide receiver 3 in the slot if someone goes down. He can be your wide receiver 4 in the slot. Now, all of a sudden, you've got your 2 outside guys in Deontay and Pickens, and you've got your 2 inside guys, a big inside physical veteran in Allen Robinson, or a small inside guy in Calvin Austin, who not only can be your ace return guy and make special teams now a place to watch, because he was very good at that in Memphis, but if you look at what he can do as far as gadget stuff, you know Matt Canada, you saw him with McLeod, you saw him at times with Claypool, and you saw him a lot with Steven Sims, doing a lot of the end-around stuff, doing a lot of the handoffs out of the base formations. You saw him doing those plays where the guy comes out of the slot, takes the handoff, and runs around. You saw him doing flea flickers. You saw him doing gadget plays. Calvin Austin can do a lot of different things. He's physical for a guy his size. He can be a deep ball threat. He's a guy with a lot of speed who can probably get open on patterns if he can run routes as well as expected. He can be a gadget guy who runs the ball out of the receiver spots. He can run the ball occasionally out of the backfield. He gives you a lot of flexibility and a lot of depth on the inside. And him being so good on the inside, again, gives Allen Robinson the option to either be on the inside on the other side, or he can go to the outside. So now you've got 4 guys who can play at different spots. Deontay can play inside or outside. Robinson can play inside or outside. And then you have Pickens, who's strictly an outside guy, and Calvin Austin, who's strictly an inside guy. So you've got flexibility with 4 receivers now that are all very different. Deontay, again, the ace route runner. Pickens is the big, strong, deep threat with the good hands. Robinson is your good traffic catch guy who can go up and has a lot of leadership and intelligence out there. Now you've got the speedy Calvin Austin who can be your gadget guy and can also be a deep threat with that kind of speed. You've got 4 guys who do different things, who are now coming together on the field for the first time. Pittsburgh has not had a receiving core this deep in quite a while. With so many guys getting hurt, so many guys getting traded and moved around, so many guys just not working out of the 3 spot, we have not had 4 consistent, different kind of eclectic guys on the field at the same time in years. And there's another guy to talk about. You guys know I'm a big fan of Hakeem Butler. He's somebody I've been watching. I watched in the XFL. I know he got drafted to the Cardinals in the 4th round. He didn't really work out at wide receiver. The Eagles tried to move him to tight end. That didn't really work out. So obviously he's got question marks, right? He's a guy that came into the league, tried 2 different spots that didn't work out. But he is a freakish athlete. He is a big, strong guy. He's got a ton of size. He's got good height. He can jump. He can run. He's super athletic. He can break tackles for a guy his size. He's got a combination of speed and agility, and he's done it, again, at the XFL level, so the competition is not quite the NFL level, but there's a lot of NFL guys there. There's a lot of guys who have gotten NFL camp tryouts since then. He was the leading receiver with 550 yards, 55 catches, led the league with 8 touchdowns. He was the head and shoulders best physical athlete at wide receiver in the XFL, and now he's potentially here with us. He's battling a guy like Miles Boykin, who is not going to do much as a wide receiver, but has the same body type and is a very good special teams guy. So it's going to come down to can Hakeem Butler be a special teams guy? Because if he can play that route at special teams and he can make an impact there, then he makes this roster because he's such a good wide receiver. He's another guy that can catch the ball in traffic, that can bounce off guys, that can be another goal line threat, that can do a lot for you physically, and that can give you a chance. If Canada would want to do it, he doesn't do it often, but now he's got the bodies to do it if he wants to send Hakeem Butler downfield as a guy who's made some catches in the camp so far. He's made some good deep ball catches with Trubisky. He can be like a Darius Hayward-Bay, or who was the other one? Not Justin Watson. Justin Hunter. Justin Hunter from Tennessee, or a Darius Hayward-Bay from Oakland, that have played for us in the past couple of years, who don't really have a ton of diversity. They're not great route runners. They're not always the most consistent. But if he, with a big body like this, who's such a freakish athlete, if he can just be a straight downfield runner, he gives us another weapon and another guy to try and guard. Now you've got 5 guys to try and guard who do different things. If he can be solely your strong deep threat like a Hayward-Bay, now you've got more matchup nightmares. And I haven't even touched on tight ends yet, which is what is coming. I'm going to talk about the fullback/tight end position in my next video. So what do you think of these wide receivers? Do you have enough faith that Hakeem Butler can make the team, special teams wise? Do you have enough faith that Calvin Austin can be big enough and can be healthy enough after last year to come into the NFL and make a play? Do you think that Allen Robinson is going to be fresh enough with his age and his injuries? Do you think he can make plays this year? What do you think of the 5 guys that I've outlined? What do you think of the possibilities that Matt Canada can let Kenny Pickett loose and we can utilize some of the gadgets of a Calvin Austin, some of the veteran presence of an Allen Robinson, some of the downfield depth of strength of Hakeem Butler? What do you think of those guys? Tell me in the comments down below. What do you want to see out of this offense vertically? What do you want to see out of the wide receivers in particular this season? Is there somebody else I'm overlooking? Was it a mistake letting Anthony Miller go? Should I take a look at somebody else? Is there another guy that you guys like, a Cody White or someone like that could possibly make this team? Tell me in the comments below who your sleepers are and what kind of formations and ideas you want to see and who could break out as a wide receiver this year. Please like, share, and subscribe. Talk to me in the comments, and I'll see you guys recording this next video back-to-back about our fullbacks and tight ends. Take care.